स्वभावतांश हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्तुते जनगौराङ्गी साधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. I'll just share my screen and I will read the one verse, Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.23, and then we will pause for the discussion on that. Let me share my screen. The screen is visible, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so thank you, devotees. I will try to read and voice over Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.23. जीवन छवो भागवतां घृणेणुं न जातो मृत्योर्भिल्लभेत यस्तो श्रीविष्णुपद्मामनुजस्तुलस्याः श्वशंशवो यस्तु न वेद गन्धम्. Translation for this: the person who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body, and the person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. Purport: according to Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, the breathing dead body is a ghost. When a man dies, he is called dead. But when he again appears in a subtle form, not visible to our present vision and yet acts, such a dead body is called a ghost. Ghosts are always very bad elements, always creating a fearful situation for others. Similarly, the ghost like non devotees who have no respect for the pure devotees, nor the Vishnu deity in the temples, create a fearful situation for the devotees at all times. The Lord never accepts any offering by such impure ghosts. There is a common saying that one should first love the dog of the beloved before one shows any loving sentiments for the beloved. The stage of pure devotion is attained by sincerely serving a pure devotee of the Lord. The first condition of devotional service to the Lord is, therefore, to be a servant of a pure devotee. And this condition is fulfilled by the statement, reception of the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee who has also served another pure devotee. That is the way of pure disciplic succession or devotional parampara. Maharaja Raghunath Rahugan inquired from the great saint Jadabharat as to how he had attained such a liberated stage of a Paramhamsa. And in answer, the great saint replied as follows: Bhagavatam 5.12.12. रघुनाथायत तपस्या न यति न शेय्य निर्वापनाद गृहाद वा न छंदसा नैव जलाग्ने सूर्याय विना महत् पदर रजोभिषेकम. O King Rahugan, the perfectional stage of devotional service or the Paramhansa stage of life can't be attained unless one is blessed by the dust of the feet of great devotees. It is never attained by tapasya or austerity. The Vedic worshipping processes, acceptance of the renounced order of life, the discharge of the duties of household life, the chanting of the Vedic hymns, or the performance of penances in the hot sun, within cold water, or before the blazing fire. In other words, Lord Sri Krishna is the property of his pure unconditional devotees, and as such, only the devotees can deliver Krishna to another devotee. Krishna is never obtainable directly. Lord Chaitanya therefore designated himself as Gopi Bharutah Padakamalayor Dasa Dasa Anudasa, or the most obedient servant of the servants of the Lord, who maintains the Gopi damsels at Vrindavan. A pure devotee, therefore, never approaches the Lord directly, but tries to please the servant of the Lord's servants, and thus the Lord becomes pleased. And only then can the devotee relish the taste of the tulsi leaves stuck to his lotus feet. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord is never to be found by becoming a great scholar of the Vedic literatures, but he is very easily approachable through his pure devotee. In Vrindavan, all the pure devotees pray for the mercy of Srimati Radharani. The pleasure potency of Lord Krishna, Srimati Radharani, is a tender hearted feminine counterpart of the Supreme Whole, resembling the perfectional stage of the worldly feminine nature. Therefore, the mercy of Radharani is available very readily to the sincere devotees. And once she recommends such a devotee to Lord Krishna, the Lord at once accepts the devotee's admittance into his association. The conclusion is therefore that one should be more serious about seeking the mercy of the devotee than the Lord directly. And by once doing so, by the goodwill of the devotee, the natural attraction for the service of the Lord will be revived. So it's a long purport. We'll pause here itself. If we, if any highlights from my side, if I have to say, then for me, the very clear message with this um, Prabhupada is trying to give that we have to somehow find our devotion or our sincere attachment towards serving the devotional, towards serving the true devotees and doing devotional service for them. Since Krishna is the property of his pure devotees, so we can't get him by any other means. I mean, we can actually do anything and everything, but then, and we probably may get also some other things, but not Krishna, because Krishna is definitely being given by his devotees. And when they get pleased and they try to bless. So that is how the way to go forward for uh, for the path of achieving Krishna. So for me, that is the highlight. Anyone else who wants to share something? Hare Krishna Mataji, Sarvari Mataji, Dandat Pranam. Please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, the same thing Mataji that you said, that Lord Krishna is the property of his pure unconditional devotees. And as such, only the devotees can deliver Krishna to another devotee. Krishna is never obtainable directly. Such a beautiful, direct message to all of us that how to reach Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing. Any other devotee would like to have any question or any realization?
Mataji, Kumarika is here.
Then with Pranam Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Am I audible to you?
Yes, Mataji, you are audible very clearly.
Um, Actually, this today's verse is very heart touching. And when I have seen people like Nityananda Pran Prabhu, their Guru Nishta, leave alone Nityananda Pran Prabhu, our own spiritual master, His Holiness Rompada Swami Maharaj. The Guru Nishta, the level of Guru Nishta they have, and that is what gives the realization. Nothing is possible without getting the dust from the lotus feet of the realized soul, and especially the Guru. So that is the purport, says that. And practically, in one of the Vyasa Puja offerings, Nityananda Pran Prabhu wrote a Paduka Ashtaka. He was inspired by Vedanta Desikan, who wrote spontaneously 1008 or something verses about the Paduka of Sri Ramachandra. So then the same year when he was discussing this Ramayana, he wrote 8 verses in Sanskrit about that. I could not understand the Sanskrit very well. It was very beautiful, and it was about the slippers of his own Guru. And he showed a photograph of that, and that offering is there in the Vyasa Puja celebration manual. But if somebody can share the English translation along with that, I'll be very grateful, because I am trying to actually get that since long. So such Guru Nishta, that inspires me, and I really feel that if I can get a drop of their own Guru Nishta, then I'll be much better off than what I am today.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for sharing your realization and the thoughts. And we are behind you, trying to follow you. Anyone? Chinakesha Prabhu, you would like to share something?
Mataji, I was not continuously listening. I was on and off.
Okay. Okay, Prabhu. Pranvala Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandava Pranam.
Then with Pranam Prabhuji.
Mataji, this is a very beautiful verse that Prabhupada wrote. Kumarika Mataji already mentioned very beautiful point about Guru Nishtha that Nityananda Prabhu has on our Guru Maharaj. And also this verse says we have to first surrender to the pure devotee of the Lord. So that is very much important in our lives uh, to grow in the spiritual path. So there are very good examples also. One is recently we celebrated Panigati festival. Raghunath Das Goswami, first he reached out to Lord Chaitanya, but Nityananda Prabhu, he called him and he put his lotus feet on his head, and you did a mistake. You are a thief. So he says you are directly going to Lord Chaitanya. So that shows, that shows an example for us. We have to go through a devotee to the Lord. Otherwise, Lord is not approachable. With the mercy of the Lord, we get Guru. With the mercy of Guru, we get the Lord Krishna. So that is the point. Yasha Prasad, even the Mangalacharan prayers, we sing every day, Yasha Prasad, Bhagavad Prasado. So when we please our spiritual master, Lord will be pleased. So that is what means. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing. So, in the childhood, we had the Kabir's dohas in our textbook, and one text was Guru Govindo Khade Kake Lago Pao Balihari Guru Apne Govindiyo Bataya. The meaning is Guru and Govind dono are standing simultaneously. Oh, whom should I pay my obeisances first? So then Govind told that first is your Guru. So first pay your obeisances to the Guru and then to Govind. So I just remembered it, just shared it. Um, Sanatan Gopras Prabhu, anything from your side?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Actually, our relationship with the pure devotee Guru is continuous. Through Paramatma connectivity, Guru is watching whatever we do. When you do our devotional service and follow his instructions, Guru is pleased. When Guru is pleased, Nityananda is pleased. When Nityananda is pleased, Radha Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radharani are pleased. That is the way, that is the path to reach Krishna. Directly you cannot reach Krishna. So we should. It's not just if you just your Guru is sitting somewhere else, but you are doing devotional service and following his instructions. He knows everything what you are doing. So we should always be in constant touch with constant communication with the Guru. See, whatever you do, no, it's not that when we were Mangala Aarti, every Aarti, we start with the Guru and reach Krishna. Or everything. First, it is a path. It is not that we cannot reach Krishna. We have to reach Krishna through Guru. It's like that, as you said, Govinda and Guru. First you should worship Guru, then afterwards Krishna, like that, That is the path, and it is a continuous thing. That only we can get the approach, reach our goal. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for your sharing. Vilay Prabhu, Sonali Mataji, anything from your side?
Hare Krishna Madhavi, nothing for today. Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Shyam Prabhu, anything you want to share, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Mataji. I especially like this purport statement by Srila Prabhupada on the purport. Just give me a moment. Prabhupada here writes, Srimati Radharani is a tender-hearted, feminine counterpart of the Supreme Whole, resembling the perfectional stage of the worldly feminine nature. Therefore, the mercy of Radharani is available very readily to the sincere devotees. And once she recommends such a devotee to the Lord at once accepts the devotee's admittance into his association. Prabhupada very beautifully put it as tender-hearted feminine counterpart, and she's the perfectional stage of worldly feminine nature. Essentially, like what I understand from this is like the feminine nature involves being very faithful, being chaste, and similarly like being service oriented. And it is also said because of her tender nature, and all the acharyas who come are representatives of Srimati Radharani. They carry the same mood, and whenever like we approach them for taking shelter, or whenever we even show some interest in practicing devotional service, they actually do this service of recommending each and every one of us to Krishna to accept our service or take our service and offer it to Krishna. So all these acharyas are none other than they are representative of Srimati Radharani, and they have the same tender heart of helping everyone serve Krishna. So, something which Prabhupada in just a couple of lines brings out a very, very deeper meaning in a very beautiful, I would say, I felt like a very poetic way of expressing Srimati Radharani's nature. And in turn, since all these pure devotees are representatives of Srimati Radharani, so he brings it out that their nature of our Guru Parampara as well, and how we can reach Krishna. That's it, Mother.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Kumarika Mataji, I see your hands raised. Is this now or it was before? I didn't notice.
No, Mataji, this is now. I
Ah.
wanted to share one more thing, that this purport is not talking about specifically as Guru. I brought in the Guru. He's telling to the dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnava. And Krishna says to Arjuna in Adi Purana that those who call themselves my devotees are not my devotees, but those who call themselves the devotees of my devotees are really my devotees. So we have to remember that that only getting the mercy of the Vaishnava is not so pleasing to Krishna. That is your own Guru. But when you are calling yourself as that I'm getting the mercy of the Guru through his own disciples. So we should be Dasa Dasanudasa. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not Krishna. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that Gopi Bhattu Pada Kamalayo Dasa Dasanudasa. So our position should be that we should be submissive to the senior Vaishnavas and serve them, because we may not get the Guru's lotus feet often to serve. We may be meeting him once in a year. But of course, the Vani Seva is better than Bapu. If we hear his lectures and follow the instructions in the lectures sincerely, as Sanatan Prabhu very beautifully pointed out, he is connected to Paramatma. He knows what you're doing. Whether you're doing the sadhana properly, or you're doing the Mangala Arti consciously or mechanically. Everything is known to the Guru, even though he is remotely situated. So, but we should make an attempt to serve the Vaishnavas as well and get their blessings. But that is a way of reaching the Guru's mercy.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing. Shamkut Prabhu, would you like to share?
Yes, Mataji. Some points, but I'd also like to spend some time reading some excerpts from a lecture given by His Holiness Rumpad Maharaj on the same. When I tried to play the lecture, the voice quality was not good. It was a very muffled one, and there's a lot of problem even in the transcription too. So that's why I decided we'll hear it, and then I can just, as much time as we have, reach 6:55, maybe till 7:10, 7:15, as much as possible. I'll just repeat some words. I'll read out some words from the transcription, and what we cannot, I'll just copy paste and put it in the chat group. Will that be fine, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu, perfectly.
Okay. Echoing something which Kumarika Mataji said. Like Srila Prabhupada, like the phrase which Srila Prabhupada used is, if one loves a person, one loves the dog of the person. And in the lecture for this, Maharaj gives the background of how Srila Prabhupada came to coin the word love the dog. Maharaj was with Srila Prabhupada many times in his morning walks in New York City. In New York City, almost like in the center of Manhattan, there is the Central Park. It's just like in Mumbai also, you have this big forest area. We have this almost like a forest kind of an area there, nice with a nice park. in New York, and he would see a rich man coming, and the dog of the person would also be there with him. So Srila Prabhupada pointed out, New York is home to many rich men. If you go and try to talk to them directly, they would not even look at you. They know that you're talking to them because you want something from their money or from their influence or their position or their wealth. Wealth means not just money, but some other aspects of wealth too. And so he said, but if somebody were to go and make a small talk or to the dog with whom they're walking in Central Park, or try to do something for the dog, the man would become happy that here's somebody doing something for my dog, and he would start speaking to the person. So that's how Srila Prabhupada came to say the phrase, love the dog. If you want to serve a person, should love the dog of the person, or anybody who's serving that person, or anybody whom the person likes, we should serve him, or we should more than serve, we should love that person too, because nobody is in isolation. One of the things that I recollect in my own training was this very principle: if you love me, love my dog. And um, Maharaj hammered it very nicely, subtly, not but repeating it too many times, but indicating it in very nice ways multiple times. That in my own case, those who were helping him, like for Maharaj, the ones who were helping him were many devotees. So I had to not just serve them, serve the devotees who were helping him, but even serve their spouse, serve their children. And when he saw me doing that, he gave a nod once. That's it. Not a single word spoken. Just there was a smile, and there was a what you call a glistening in the eyes. And that's when I understood that this is an important part of the principle. And in various ways, he said he said the same thing. Now, looking at it a little differently, and I'm not yet come to the transcription of Maharaj's lecture, one has, like, what we get here is um, the dust of the lotus feet of the devotee. What does the dust of the lotus feet mean? Even a person walks barefooted, as he walks, there is dust on the ground, and the dust on the ground falls on those who are behind. Of course, you may, uh, we may feel it sometimes, but the dust is such a small particle that mostly we don't even feel it. Likewise, so one of the meanings of what is the meaning of the mercy of the devotee, the dust of the lotus feet of the devotees, is that when we anusara, when we follow them, so when the pure devotee has a mission and we follow behind doing what is required for that mission of the devotee, then we get the mercy of Srimati Radharani, that we are assisting somebody. When somebody walks in front of a person, we don't get that the dust doesn't fall on them. In other words, if we try to order somebody, or if you try to say, hey, do everything as I say, that is not the way of getting the mercy of a pure devotee. The mercy of a pure devotee is engage in the mission of that devotee, or number one. And number two, following behind the devotee, whatever is required for that devotee, do it. That is how we get it. And then Maharaj goes to the next section. I'll come to the 56th minute of this lecture, and I'll go backwards to forwards a little bit here. So in the 56th minute of this lecture, it's there on SoundCloud. You can hear it if you want. Maharaj says, when we receive instructions on how to carry out our service, and we absorb ourselves in doing those services in the ways that we have been instructed how to do those services, that helps us develop an absorption in hearing the message of Krishna. I'll just repeat it once more. It's a foundational point here. So we receive instruction how to carry out something. We absorb ourselves in doing those services in the ways that we have been instructed. So that gives us an absorption. And then Maharaj says, the foundational anartha upon which all other anarthas rest, is the spirit of independence. And if you can think fundamentally, the spirit of dependence, that's Bhagavata Seva. So that which stops us from having a soft heart is the spirit of independence. But when we are dependent on this Bhagavata, that Bhagavata Seva, then we move forward. And then Maharaj says, it is then that we can hear the Bhagavata and then we can do Bhagavata Seva. So Maharaj says, it's a progressive thing, because even hearing instructions that we receive, we hear with our filters selectively what we like to hear, and then we don't hear what we don't like to hear. And Maharaj then says, and if you're absorbed in the discussion, then that sound becomes less. And with that attachment to those who are attached to Krishna comes instructions how to become attached to Krishna. So we need to be attentive to those things. And then with the attachment to Krishna comes certainly attentiveness to the topics of Krishna in a way that other people can't experience. They do not experience and they cannot experience. That's what Maharaj talked about in this process of being attached to the devotees. That's one. There's I'll pause here again, one more thing to add something to just elaborate a little bit here from the perspective of the Bhagavad Gita too. When we are saying about being attached to Krishna and Krishna's message, in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, text 8 2, Krishna tells Arjuna, fix your mind and intelligence on me. That's the highest stage. That's all. One's mind is always absorbed in the activities of Krishna, in the messages of Krishna, etc. And when doing so, one does something for Krishna. But and then in text 9, Krishna says, but if somebody cannot do that, what to do? He says, to Abhyasa Yoga. Follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga and hear constantly. So the instruction that what we most of us are trying to follow is at this level. At least an hour and a half every day, chant the holy name. Then for some more time, absorb ourselves in scripture. Our mind is not doing it, but we put effort to do it. That's the Abhyasa Yoga. But then Krishna recognizes everybody cannot do it. Then he says, if somebody cannot do it in the next 12.10, Srila Prabhupada actually writes in the purport, one should work for Krishna. How? One should assist in land, capital, organization, and labor for propagating Krishna consciousness. And Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says further, you can water Krishna's garden, you can build temples, etc. And this will bring one's mind that to the point that, yes, I can sit in one place and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. My mind can think of how Krishna is going to be pleased. And this finally takes us to the highest step. So that's what we hear from the Bhagavad Gita. Now I'll go to one more point in Maharaj's lecture. Somebody is saying that how can one think of Krishna? How can one be serving devotees or being this mood of servant of the servant while one is at the workplace, etc. And then Maharaj says here, in my service of being able to present the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, in a way, I present myself way in such a way that it's going to help the devotees grow in Krishna consciousness. But one can get attached to the material side of it. That's not where effectively doing the service of a renunciant comes. So what Maharaj is indicating here is, in the process of making people attracted to Krishna consciousness, that's what his renounced order is. One can get very much attached to the externalities alone. And these externalities is probably how many people are coming, are they doing this, doing that, but it may not be connected to the heart of that person. Somebody can just, like even for a renunciant, he can just get focused with projects and getting things done, but not with, it may so happen that in the process, those whom he's working with, their heart is actually not getting connected to Krishna. So he said even they can get carried away. And so he says, it's a deeper Krishna consciousness. So the application of that challenge is different for you because the nature of your service, the nature of your next ashrama that you're going to get in is different. The challenges are for this renounced order and the challenges for the householders, but the principle is the same. And the art of work is learning how to do it for Krishna, not to do it for achieving the result. Results don't become less, but there's a whole lot that your attention is not there on. So train the mind or the heart to give yourself to service to Lord Krishna, and that's your cultivation. That's your practice. Um, and then now, having come to the last part, I'll come to the beginning part of the lecture. There are many nice aspects. Just going to the place in the document. In the beginning of the purport, Srila Prabhupada spoke about how Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that, okay, there are two aspects here. One is somebody who, like in the verse here, just a minute, let me come here. In the verse itself, it says that the person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. So Maharaj says that whenever we speak about tulsi leaves, what does it mean? Or what does it indicate to us? The four Kumaras, before they entered and saw the Supreme, entered Vaikuntha and saw the Supreme Lord, they smelled, they took into their nostrils the aroma of the tulsi leaves. And so it was important for them. So Maharaj makes a connection that it is important for one to connect to the Supreme, to the devotees of the Supreme Lord. That is one aspect of it. And he also says here that um, here's a comparison. The ghost-like non-devotees who have no respect for the pure devotees nor for the Vishnu deities in temple. Um, the Lord never accepts any offerings from impure ghosts. So who's the ghost here? Those who do not care to respect the devotees of the Lord. So in one sense, the Kumaras also didn't respect the great devotees, Jaya and Vijaya. And the Srimad Bhagavatam has a very nice section where Krishna or Lord Vishnu corrects the mentality of uh, the four Kumaras in saying, well, he's in a very soft way, he says, oh, I'm very sorry that my servants did not allow you inside. And then he then says, I beg you, you please forgive them, forgive these devotees. It is my problem that all because they are serving me and I have not done something well for them that they are treating you in this way. And then it flashes in the mind of the four Kumaras. Oh my God, I did something wrong. If the Supreme Lord himself has to come and say sorry to me, then what does it mean? Do I think I'm such a great person here that I can uh, curse the devotees? So they learned their lesson. So the Supreme Lord, without correcting them, corrected them. That's the way he does. And that's the way which even many times great pure devotees also correct us in a very nice way. Sometimes just by accepting us in spite of our limitations, it's their correction for us, that they do. And Maharaj, true to the way he does, he tries to see all possible ways in which this principle of serving the devotee of the devotee comes into the picture. Of course, he elaborates on King Rahugana, Rahugana's conversation with Jadabharata. And Jadabharata says that it's the mercy of the devotee by which one can, the mercy of the devotees by which one can get to understand deeper truths. That is one part which is elaborated. Another is Vasudeva Datta. Maharaj goes to the Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita and gives the example of Vasudeva Datta, that I have sold myself to Vasudeva. So Maharaj re-emphasizes that point too. Having said all of this, the foremost example of love the dog that we can see in Maharaj is in His Holiness Rumpad Maharaj alone. There was a period of time when many people who had joined ISKCON gave their youth to ISKCON, and then they later felt, well, I feel that I need to get married. I am not the same vigor that I have here to work day in and day out. So they did get married. Maharaj didn't get married. So he felt that I'm so absorbed in my service, I like to do more and more of this. He didn't get married. But then when those with whom he was working, he was distributing books with some of them, they got married. They didn't have a head start in life. Like when somebody starts earning at the age of 22, by the time they become 35, 40 years old, that's when the income peaks. And usually it's sometime between 35 to 50, 55 that the income peaks, and then it slowly comes down also. But the problem is the God brothers or the other disciples of Srila Prabhupada got into the job market at the age of 35. So by the time they were 50, they were still struggling there, and they missed some opportunities, etc. But then Maharaj felt it, that they gave their youthful life to preserve the temples, to help more people get in touch with Krishna consciousness. How can I serve them? So when devotees used to go and offer dakshina to them, he would collect it and use it for the college education of the children of his god brothers, knowing that maybe they cannot afford it, but they need it. So he would go and help them out. Or sometimes they would need money to pay their bills. He would go give it, and when he would give it, even if the devotee receiving it wouldn't even know it's him. He would send it to somebody else, and he would say, uh, "Don't tell my name. Just go and ensure that this money is arranged." So those who are giving the donation to Maharaj, they didn't know. Those who are receiving from him, they don't know. But for him, it was just, it's me and Prabhupada and Krishna. This very famous verse in Ishopanishad, which I keep repeating often. My dear Lord, you very well know the sacrifices I have done. May you be pleased with me. And in the case of people, stalwart devotees like Maharaj, they don't even think about, may you be pleased with me. That doesn't come. Krishna, if you are pleased, that's enough. That's my reward. The factor of me doesn't come in. This is how one can learn to love the dog, to love the way Srila Prabhupada wrote here. That's it. Thank you very much. I think it's 7:30. And I probably will send the document and maybe highlight something more over there.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the sharing. We share the document also. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful explanation about Maharaj's qualities. Thank you so much. Correct.
Thank you all devotees for joining the morning session. We'll meet again tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.